Hello everyone, welcome to day one of my vlog, Failure to Thrive. I appreciate everyone watching and tuning in to see what this is all about. I will definitely explain the purpose and I guess the motivation behind starting a vlog. First, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has liked my Facebook page and subscribed to my YouTube channel. I've gotten tons of really kind comments and messages that people have sent me, texts. I really appreciate that, and just from like the 3 teaser videos, I think I'm over 150 likes on the Facebook page for Failure to Thrive, and I'm just really shocked and really flattered and grateful to everyone for the support. It's been great. And one of the themes of this vlog will be vulnerability and being just completely honest and open. And so to start things off, I will admit that I am terrified of this vlog. And, the last 2 days, kind of getting prepped for this first video has been really nerve-wracking and scary. And I've tried to, come up with valid excuses to abandon ship, essentially. But I have just been forcing myself. First, Failure to Thrive. Why Failure to Thrive? I chose that title, and I chose that title because Failure to Thrive is a medical classification, I guess you could say. When a baby doesn't seem to be progressing, it's not growing, it's not eating or hitting, I guess, certain milestones that are appropriate for a baby to be hitting. They'll be typically, considered or classified as failing to thrive. And so I've thought a lot about that, and I feel like that is a decent description, at least of how I feel my life has been, at least for the last few years. I also chose it. I know that sounds really pessimistic and depressing and boo-hooey, but I also chose that because I feel like it's I want it to also stand for a shift, to stand for progress. Because really what I want out of all this is I want to shift from a state of failure, which is how I see my life. And I don't mean that dramatically or woe is me. I'm being honest I'm just being honest. I feel like things the where I'm at, I'm stuck, and I have been for a long time, and I don't know how to get unstuck. I don't know the answers, but I just know that I desperately want to move from a state of failure to a state of thriving. Why am I starting a vlog? What's the motivation? Why? And funny enough, the idea to do a vlog actually first came to me in 2009. Just a little while back. And it was right after I graduated from college, and I just had this idea. Oh man, you should start a YouTube channel and document yourself. Because when I graduated, I had student loans, and I was just like, ooh, what am I doing? How do I, get out of debt? And I got to find a job. And So I was like, man, it would be really cool to start a channel where like I kind of document, how I move from college into, the real world. And I talked myself out of it and said that no one would want to see that kind of thing. And so I just kind of dismissed the idea. And so that was that, and it went away. That idea just kind of went away. And then about 2 years ago, the idea came back, and it came back with like a vengeance. It was like this sense of urgency, and like I felt like the universe was just like grabbing me by the shoulders and was like, "You've got to do this." And I struggled with that because I don't find myself especially fascinating or feel like, my situation is all that compelling. There are people, in who have struggled far worse than I ever will. And so I struggled with that idea of kind of like being, I guess, presumptuous, like, presuming that people really want to see, my life and my struggle. And anyway, so there was that. I struggled with that, but I couldn't kick the idea. I've always been a big consumer of self-helpery, we'll call it. And I love, like Wayne Dyer and Tony Robbins and Jen Sincero, Napoleon Hill. I love Napoleon Hill. There's so much that I really like. Brene Brown is another huge, man, just giant, And so I love reading that material because it gives me hope. And yet I could not seem to, and I still cannot seem to move into that hope and allow that to become action and to kind of like get unstuck and move forward. I remember this day I was just kind of poking around on the internet, and I came across, I can't remember what I searched on Google, but I came across this person's website, and he was I guess you could call him like a motivational speaker, and I was just checking out his material, and I read like his bio, and his bio just kind of started off talking about like how he started his first business in his sophomore year of high school, and that by his junior year he had made so much money, and then after graduating from high school he sold his business for this many thousands of dollars and went to school, and I can't remember, I think it was Stanford, like some incredible school, and how after that he started this business, and man, and so I was reading this, and I was just like, dude, I cannot even like identify with you. Like I've got nothing in common with you, and that I know that sounds like super cynical and jealous. I mean, prideful. And I know that sounds that way, but that was my reaction, was like, I've got nothing in common with you, and I sort of want to punch you in the face. And so it created in my mind this idea where in all honesty, like I have felt this desire to help people, and I know that that's like so cliche. I just want people to feel like they're gonna be okay, that it's gonna be okay. In that moment is where the idea sparked that maybe me, a train wreck, maybe the best way that I can help others is to just figure my crap out and turn around my life, and if it helps people, like if it brings value to people, fantastic. And if it doesn't, that's great, because if I can still like turn myself around, it'll be totally worth it, you know? And so I think that part of the vlog, the motivation behind the vlog is I feel like maybe there will be at least some accountability. Fast forward a little bit more, that's when I kind of like came into contact with, but like came across a book by Gary Vaynerchuk, and it just blew my gourd, you know? I was especially like captivated by his idea of doubling down on what you're passionate about, what you're good at. So as I was pondering and kind of mulling over this idea of starting a vlog, one of the big worries and one of my biggest like hesitations was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know, like I'm going to have to come up with ideas and like essentially create content. And Gary V has this phenomenal video that like really was a game changer for me, where he talks about how no one starts because they're afraid of having to create content and they don't know, you know, what am I going to create? What do I have to offer? What am I going to come up with? And so then nothing happens. That just totally like impedes any progress or movement on a project. And in that video, he says that don't create, document. And that was big for me. And so that is my intention with this, is to document my process. That could be like so boring. And so like I have no expectations that this is going to be like ultra riveting, you know, viewing. Why should you watch? Why should you care? And honestly, I can't say, you know, that you should. And I would love you to. I would love you to watch, and I would love it if what I am doing is of any value to you. But I'll be straight up with you that this, first and foremost, is for me. You know, selfish guy alert. This is for me. But if I can, in the process of turning my life around, if I can bring value, that would be like huge and make the struggle worth it. Yeah. And I'm being honest, like that I'm being genuine with that. I really believe that there are many people out there that feel stuck. And I hate that feeling. Like I have felt stuck for a really long time. And not just stuck, but like paralyzed, you know, like almost to the point of giving up hope. Like I struggle with feeling hopeful about life. And that has got to change. Like I've got to turn that around. I've got to figure out what to tweak in my mind, in my life, in my habits, my character, you know, what the tweak is that's gonna shift that. And because I can tell you, one of the overwhelming feelings that I have is that I am living far below my potential, and that drives me crazy. Sometimes when I think about this idea of, finding fulfillment and finding what my purpose is, and, there have been times where I've just, told myself, yo, you gotta get over it and just get a job, put your nose to the wheel, just work and deal with it. And there's no such thing as like, a dream job or yeah. And I've struggled a lot with that, and I've had jobs in the past where I've worked and just felt really unhappy. But you just do it and you just deal, and I would try to just deal and just do the work and get over the unhappiness. And at a lot of those jobs, I've worked with people that I felt themselves were, living below their potential and were unhappy as well. And, they would express that unhappiness. And so like I really struggle with that idea of fulfilling, like finding something fulfilling and something that's going to bring joy and whether that's realistic. I have taken many jobs where in the back of my head, there's this voice in the far, far corner, because that's where I've pushed it to, that's like, what are you doing? No, this is not it. This is not it. And I've struggled with that voice, and I've tried to shut that voice up and just say, like, deal with it. And I've tried to drown that voice. Because in my mind, like, I can't help but think about, like, the delusional American Idol contestant, that is absolutely convinced that they can be the next American Idol, but they can't sing worth anything, and they are completely tone deaf, and they're just, like, baffled that Paula and Simon are laughing at them. And, what if that's me and I am just like completely delusional, and that I have these like delusions in my head about, potential and fulfillment and all those, happy words. And anyway, I was talking to someone that I think is really wise, and I was explaining that voice back there in that corner, and how he just said that voice is my soulfulness. My soulfulness. And I was really intrigued by that statement, mainly because it like gave me hope that there was something to that, and that I should listen to it. And he also said that he's glad that voice is still there, because we'd all be screwed if it had died. And I like that too. That maybe I can contribute to society in some beneficial way. What I can offer is me documenting what I'm doing, and I'm gonna video and document my process and things that I'm researching and trying to figure out that can help me to get out of debt, find peace and fulfillment in my life, take better care of myself, both physically and mentally, finding passion. This is an experiment, and I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't have a map, and we'll see how it goes. Quote. Second quote. In the beginning, for the first few videos, my intention is to dissect my life and look at what I see as experiences that I've had that were either beneficial or more so, experiences that I've had that were crippling. And like the quote said from dear Socrates, I agree 100% with it, by the way. I believe that, building the new is more important than anything. I just know that for me, I have set out to build the new multiple times. And then I sabotage myself. I sabotage. I am a saboteur. And so what I intend to do is to go through my life, sort of a chronology. Like, I know you're like, boring. I want to identify certain experiences that I feel have contributed to my need to sabotage myself, or my need to stay in my comfort zone, because I have multiple experiences where I have like, been really daring and like will set out to do something, but then I just like, I retreat, And so anyway, first few videos will be that. I'm gonna go through and I'm going to dissect my life, and my hope is to identify contributors to my need to retreat, and then to try and determine ways that I can recognize that. So first, by identifying them, I feel like that'll be helpful, just so that as I try and be daring in the future, that I can recognize the build up to that need to retreat, I suppose. I also am hoping to, by identifying those things, to also be able to come up with strategies to avoid that and to nip that in the bud. So I agree with Socrates. Most important thing is to build the new. And so I am very devoted to building that new. And so my intention is to build the new, and at least in the beginning, to simultaneously look at the past so that I can identify what it is back here that consistently sabotages this. Thank you everyone for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you did watch the video, I would love for you to leave a comment and just, tell me any thoughts that you might have had, any insights. I'm genuinely interested to hear what you think. Is the camera too close? Is the background, distracting? Yeah, anything constructive would be welcomed. I'm excited for this project. I really am, and I'm hopeful that it will be a good experience. And I look forward to the next video. And Like I said earlier, this is an experiment, and I'm excited to get into it. Take care.